I had a flask of whiskey on me, and when we were in there, we were drinking that.
He told me he wasn't gonna drive when we first got to the dance, and so I was just more concerned with him getting caught.
It was a big screen, and there was a video camera, so you could see everybody dancing. And I looked up and I could see Brooks and I on the screen on the side, and Brooks gets out this little flask out of his pocket and he starts drinking out of it. And I was like, Brooks, you know, there's cops and teachers everywhere. And he's like, oh, it's all good. No.
Just going around dancing with every girl he could find.
He was having a little bit of trouble staying up.
He was basically like in the middle of the crowd, and it was just all the people around him that were actually holding him up. You know, he was just leaning and weaving like this, just all over the place.
All the kids were piling out in the front of the school, just herding us out the doors.
We were all cold, all of us girls, and we were kind of running to the car, and Kelly was lagging behind a little bit, talking to Brooks.
I told Brooks that he was too drunk to be driving and that I wasn't going to ride with him. And he got all mad, and I told him that I wasn't going to let him drive. And then he just walked away from me.
He ran up to the Jeep all like, you know.
Having him in this car and having way too many people in this car and not even really thinking about anything except going over to Brandon's house or going somewhere and just having some fun with everybody.
We piled Brooks in the back and 4 of us here in the back seat, and then I was in the front and Nick was driving, and we were just going to cruise over to Hastings because it was so cold out.
There was people sitting on each other's laps and people in the back and everything. Definitely a full load. We just figured that we were going to give him a ride over to the Suburban over there and drop him off.
I got out with Nick to go let Brooks out of the back, and he was just stumbling all over the place, and when he got out, he didn't even really realize where we were, that we were at his car. And when he did realize it, you know, this is when we all started to kick into all of us that Brooks was just too drunk to drive.
I thought I was the best driver in the world. I thought I was even better drunk.
Calder says to Brooks, why don't you let Farr drive?
Brooks was just too belligerent to give up his keys because he didn't want anybody driving on his parents' insurance.
And everyone was saying, well, he can't drive, what are we going to do?
We kind of unanimously agreed that somebody needed to ride with Brooks.
I told Kelly to go with him to make sure that Brooks would be okay.
And Kelly Morgan, being the great friend that he was, offered to go with Brooks.
He wanted me to come with him, and I was like, no, I'm staying in here. And I can just remember this look of like pure sadness on his face, like walking away from the car.
Hey Nick, come on, Kelly asked me to come with him, so I got out of the car and I was walking over there. But something made me decide to turn around and come back in Nick's Jeep.
I think we all were just like, drive safe, we'll see you in a minute. Make sure to follow us.
He didn't end up following us, and I guess we lost him behind us.
We were headed over there. It was maybe a 15-minute drive. And on the way, I said, well, I'm gonna take the back roads. I was coming up over a hill, and I overcorrected and swerved to the other side and started skidding and went straight into the ditch and rolled. I was out for a little bit. It was about 1 o'clock. It was pitch black out. I was scared and I just ran. I ran.